everybody, today I am here and we are talking brush washing. I know I've done videos on my favorite brushes and my brush collection and how to use different brushes, but we haven't talked washing, and girls ask me all the time how often I wash my brushes and how I wash my brushes. So when it comes to the brushes that are in my makeup kit, the brushes that I'm using on other people, I wash them in between each girl because germs, duh. When it comes to my own brushes, I try to wash my brushes like once a month. I know I should probably wash them more frequently. That's about as often as I get around to it. You should definitely be washing your own brushes. Even though it's your own face, you're still getting germs in your brushes. And also, when you get so much product in a brush, the brush becomes a little bit more ineffectual, so it's not going to work as well when it's caked with product. One thing to remember is if it is a brush or a sponge that you are using liquid makeup on, so a beauty blender or a foundation brush or a concealer brush, you should wash those brushes every time you use them. And the reason is that liquid formulas grab onto bacteria and bacteria will just be growing in that brush. So powder brushes you can get away with washing a little bit less, but liquid brushes you definitely want to wash every day, especially your beauty blender, because that little thing becomes a little sponge of germy doom. I don't even know what it becomes, but it's really scary. And especially if you're using a beauty blender with a little tip near your eye, you don't want to have bacteria in that little sucker. So also remember, if you have any kind of infections like an eye infection, pink eye, cold sore, anything like that, you want to make sure that you're washing your brushes every time that you use them so that you're not cross-contaminating and reinfecting yourself. So let me show you guys how I wash my brushes.
Okay, so to start, I actually use Beauty Blender soap, and I use either the liquid soap or the solid. The liquid just has this pump, and the solid is just a cake, and you just kind of swirl the brush around. But today I'm going to be using the liquid. So first I'm going to get my brush nice and wet, then I'm going to dip it in a little bit of the liquid, and then I'm just going to swirl it around on the palm of my hand until I feel like it is pretty saturated with soap. And then I am going to rinse it just by doing that same swirl and just kind of squeezing out any product that is in there while I rinse. And then once it is sufficiently rinsed and it's not soapy and it's kind of running clear, I'm just going to make sure I wring out the brushes. And if you have a brush like this with really, really dense bristles, you just want to make sure you get really in the center of that brush. And if you have a little brush like this, I just use my finger. If you do have a brush that has the little metal top, hold on to the top while you are wringing it out, because sometimes what happens if you don't hold that little metal piece is that the top just pops right off of the brush, so you want to avoid that. So with a beauty blender, I just make sure I get it super saturated with water, and then I dip it in the soap, and then I sort of squeeze and rub the soap in, and then I just sort of squeeze out the soap and rinse it to get the soap out of there. Sometimes these lighter beauty blenders just stain though, so if you washed and washed and you still can't get the stain off of it, it might just be stained. So then to make them dry, I just hang them off the edge of my counter on a towel and dry them overnight.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my video, and be sure to check out these latest videos that I have posted, and also be sure to click the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you can see the new shenanigans coming your way.